Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodi. I'd like to welcome you guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about a super classic Spider-Man story arc, Revenge of the Sinister Six, written and illustrated by Erik Larsen. He does a fantastic job. It's not perfect, like some of the writings are a little rough around the edges, but the story itself, it's just really, really good. There's a really big nostalgia factor for me because I remember when it came out, buying it at my local comic book store. I was 11 years old, and actually the last issue, like check out all the covers. Just 1 second. Like, look at all these covers. They're all classics. 90s as hell. Look, Spider-Man has a robotic arm. Super buff. All these covers are super, and like this one's a gatefold. Like, you open it up like this. Like, the art is just so good, man. And I remember getting this comic right around the time of the LA riots. Things got really bad in my neighborhood, and my dad had a work trip to San Francisco, so we went up to San Francisco right after the LA riots. And on our way there, I remember buying this particular comic book at a comic book shop in one of those cities or towns on your way to San Fran. He teams up with a ton of characters in this, in this particular story. At the beginning of the story, we have Spidey. He's having to fight against this cyborg that sort of went crazy. He's destroying them all. He's teaming up with Ghost Rider. The cyborg has one of the laziest names, not the most 90s and laziest name for the time. His name is Cyborg X. There's actually even a joke told by Spider-Man's, like, everyone's called X nowadays. Erik Larsen's art, as I said in the introduction, it's just killer. He did a fantastic job. The action, and both of our heroes are having a real hard time trying to deal with the cyborg that seems to be panicking, not understanding what's going on. We discover later on in the story is that the cyborg is actually sort of like an experiment, like a next generation group of super soldiers, and his programming sort of went haywire, and that's made him go out and start causing trouble around the city. Have Dr. Octopus. That this is one of the few bad things about the story. Like, every time Dr. Octopus pops up in this story, because he gets these new robotic arms that they're adamantium. They have the power source is better now, so he's really powerful now. Like, he's really OP. And the thing is, like, every time he pops up, he has to mention this, that his arms are adamantium, that they have a new power source, and that he's crazy powerful every single time. And in this story, the cool thing is that Dr. Octopus is sort of like making a move to become like a bigger threat within the Marvel Universe. Now he wants to basically take over the world. He wants to operate on the Doctor Doom level. And see, at the beginning of the story here is that someone planted a bomb at Sandman's house, and his loved ones have almost been killed. They're not dead. They're all hospitalized. But Sandman's really pissed off because the relationship between Sandman... actually, during this time, Sandman was a hero. So his relationship with Doc Ock has soured, obviously. Doc Ock going crazy with his arms, killing people left and right. He killed the guy that sold him the arm. I think it's Silvermane. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure. So after he dealt with everyone, he steals all the weapons. And so cool the way, like, he uses his arms. And he takes all the weapons that way. It's very well written in that aspect. So Sandman gets together with his old teammates from the Sinister Six. All these guys have an axe to grind with Doc Ock, and obviously Sandman's really pissed off because someone planted a bomb at his house. So they want to take vengeance on Doc Ock, but Sandman actually goes to Spidey and tells Spidey, "Hey, we're gonna try to take down Dr. Octopus. Shit's going to go down, but I want you to cover my back, please." So things escalate pretty quickly. Sandman tries to take down Dr. Ock, and Dr. Ock immediately turns him into glass. He jumps in, wants to take control of the situation, and things get really bad for Spidey because even though the other members of the Sinister Six want to take down Dr. Octopus, they hate Spidey more. So pretty much we have everyone going after Spidey moment. But just in the nick of time, the Incredible Hulk arrives. We're talking about Professor Hulk during this time. So he's the smart Hulk. That's the Hulk I actually got into first. And he's my first Hulk because it seems sort of convenient that he sort of pops up there at the middle of the night. But during this time, he was working with these guys called the Pantheon, and there was a group of precogs there called Delphi. I don't remember if they're Delphi or Delphi because I don't remember if there's more than one, but I'm just rambling there. So Hulk starts fighting against Spidey's foes. We get a pretty kick-ass battle, but Doc Ock, his new arms, he just obliterates Spider-Man. It's freaking brutal. And then after that, he takes down the Incredible Hulk. It's really awesome, this battle, and the way Dr. Octopus is able to deal with such formidable foes. Like here, the art here, he's just clobbering the Hulk. He just throws him away, throws him across the harbor. And after seeing this, the other members of the Sinister Six is like, "Do you guys have a problem with me?" It's like, no, don't. Well, join me. I have plans. Issues, except for the first and last one, have backup stories where Spidey has to deal with the Diablo. I think he's a Fantastic Four villain, and that particular story, at least for me, wasn't best. So I always tend to skip over these. So we have Nova. He finds Spidey half dead, floating down the Hudson River. Spidey says, "Hey, can you help me deal with and Dr. Octopus?" And Nova, "No, I have new warrior stuff to deal with." And what we get in all these stories, like the introduction of all these new characters that were pretty big back in the early 90s. So we have Ghost Rider, Deathlock, Nova and the New Warriors, Sleepwalker, this new version of Hulk, Professor Hulk. So it was a great introductory comic if you were just getting into comic books during this time. So you got to see all these new characters. This guy called Solo, who's like this second-rate Punisher dude that I think I've seen him like one or two times up until the time he joined the Mercs for Money with Deadpool. That was pretty awesome. But here, he's pretty much like this second-rate Punisher. So Spidey, full-on 90s. He, instead of having a big gun, he gets these uber powerful, there we go, web shooters. So to confront Spidey, say, "Hey, can we team up?" And Spidey's like, "No way, you're too crazy." The pretty hilarious thing that happens here is that Spidey gets these web shooters, and Doc Ock immediately destroys the tanks with webbing, and it just backfires on Spidey in one page. This new weapon doesn't work. And Solo actually followed Spidey. He starts shooting people left and right. Things go really terribly wrong very quickly, especially for the fact that this is all an illusion by Mysterio, and Solo almost kills Spidey. So thankfully, Spidey's saved by Deathlock. No, actually, Cyborg X is the one responsible for saving Spidey. He's taken in to this organization. I don't remember the name of the organization responsible for creating these cyborgs. They're also related to Deathlock. Spidey gets that 90s as hell cable arm and that weird eye thing. A avalanche of dialogue by this scientist that gives us big exposition about this whole organization and how they're creating the next generation super soldiers and with these cyborgs and so on and so forth. It's not very, very super important to this story. So we have Doc Ock, his Sinister Six. He's souped up all these guys with some pretty hefty weaponry. Vulture has these two machine guns. I think they're called Uzis. Mysterio 2. Hobgoblin has these flamethrowers. And Electro gets these like super crazy electric cannons. They're causing trouble left and right, attacking other criminal organizations. And there's a point where they actually even attack Hydra. Doc Ock destroys the Sandman glass statue. The Sinister Six make their move. They're going to take this Hydra installation that controls this orbital whatever, or an orbital base, or their orbital weapon, there. So they can basically hold the whole world for ransom, take over everything. So Spidey teams up with, very conveniently, they're all hiding in an alley at the same time. Sleepwalker, Hulk, and Ghost Rider. So all these characters start their attack. We get the epic battle. Things are starting to go in the hero's way, but the sixth member of the Sinister Six pops up, It's this giant called Gog. And back then I had no idea who the hell this guy was, but I thought to myself, oh my god, that's awesome. Again, I have to say, the art is just fantastic. It's incredible. The Fantastic Four arrive, Nova arrives, the battle just goes really off the wall. It's very entertaining, it's very well written. You feel like the stakes are really high. Sometimes the dialogues aren't the best. Larsen, the way, yeah, he repeats himself way too many times. But outside of that, the story is really fun. It's a fantastic read. Even though I spoiled the hell out of it. 90s as hell, but in a really good way. And so, I hope you guys like this video and see you guys next time, okay?